Hello guys, welcome to lesson 12 of your HTML5 crash course, and in today's lesson we'll be covering the ID and class attributes and how and when to use them. Alright guys, so we're back in the reference box, and you can see here I've created a new file called 9_ID_classes.html. Changed the title to IDs and classes and opened up live server so we can track what we're doing as we go along. Now, as we've seen in several lessons, HTML tags on their own are really ugly and basic. And apart from a few default settings, they don't actually have much style to them at all. Now, what we can do is give tags an ID or a class attribute. This will act as a selector to that tag, and then we can style the tag with CSS through the ID and class we've given it. So firstly, what we're going to do actually is open up the reference box, go in our divs and spans, and we're going to copy everything inside the body or the website we created, and then we'll paste it inside the body here. And the reason we're doing this is so we can start implementing a bit of style to our website, so we can demonstrate how the ID and class attribute work and how we use them. Now, as we've seen, there's more than a few ways to style a HTML tag. There's the inline style, where we go directly inside the tag and style it there. So let's just demonstrate this quickly. So we'll go inside this H1 and we'll give it a style of color red, and that should change the color. And yeah, so that's working. But we want to completely avoid this. This is really bad practice, and you don't really ever want to style something like this. So we'll just delete that. And then we've also got the external CSS file, which I've mentioned a few times in the course, which we link to our document, and we can style our which will style our tags. But we won't be doing it this way. And for this lesson, we'll be styling our website with internal CSS. And this is where it's separate from the body, but it's still within the same document. And how we go about implementing this is we'll go inside the head tag and go underneath the title, and then we'll just generate two style tags. And now all our styling for this website will go inside the style tag. Alright guys, first we'll talk about the ID attribute. So what we'll do is we'll just tuck this away quickly so we get more space, and then we'll go inside the style tag and we'll just create a comment for ID attribute. Now, the ID attribute is used to specify a unique ID for a HTML element, and the rule is that you can't have more than one element with the same ID in a HTML document. So how we go about implementing and styling with the ID attribute is we'll go inside the desired tag we wish to style. So in this case, it's going to be the div for the main header. And what we do is we'll go in here, type in ID, hit enter, and then we'll write in here, we'll give it a name and call it main header. Now, if we wanted to access this or target this, we'll go inside the style attribute here, go underneath here, and the syntax for an ID is hash followed by the name of the ID, so main header in this case. Give it some curly braces, and now every CSS property we put in here will style the main header. So let's just say, let's give it a background color of black. And what we'll do quickly actually is just give some more content in the list items. So we'll just say home, services, and about us. So we've given it a background color of black. As you can see here, it's changed on the browser, and then we can't see the text anymore. So what we'll do, we'll change the color of the text. So we'll go underneath here and we'll put color white, and we'll just put them together. And you can see now in the browser that the background has turned black and the color of the text is now white, whereas before I had a background color of white and the text color of black. Just want to mention quickly to UK watchers that the spelling of color is the American English, in case you guys are wondering if I was spelling it wrong. So that's essentially how an ID attribute works and how we use it for styling. So we go into the tag you wish to give an ID. So in this case, we did the header, wrote main header as a name, went into the style tag, and then the syntax for an ID to target it is the hash followed by the name, so main header, curly braces, and then we put the styling inside the curly braces. So let's talk about the class attribute now. So we'll just give this a comment here and say class attribute. So we'll go under the comment, And now the key difference between the class attribute and the ID attribute is that the class attribute can be used by more than one tag and is essentially a multi-selector, whereas the ID is specific to that one tag and has a single purpose use. So an example of when we might use a class attribute is if we wanted all our subheadings in our website to be a certain style or a certain color or font size. This is when you would use a class attribute. So what we're going to do is just change all these these H3s in our theme to a certain color and font size. So what we do, instead of having individually style them, we can just put them under one class and they'll all style the same. So what we'll do, we'll go in here and similar to an ID, we'll just put a class and then we'll name it team, and then we'll copy and paste this. So copy, paste, paste. Now we'll go up here again. So like the ID attribute, we'll go on the class attribute comment, and the way we target this class is full stop or dot, and then team, curly braces, and now say we want to change the color to green. We'll put color green, and now all those H3s will turn to green. Let's say we wanted to make the font size a bit bigger, so font size, do 30 pixels. Now all the subheadings, all the H3s in the team section, all 30 pixels, and they're color green. So that's how a class attribute would work. Now many people find it confusing on when and how to use classes or IDs, and this is mainly due to both attributes having the same functionality. But the best advice to give would be to have something like a header as an ID, and this is because IDs are essentially for single use purposes and you only have one main header in your website, whereas something like a class you'd use because you'll be using it multiple times across your website. So in the example I showed, we wanted all our headings in the team section to be color green and a bigger font size, so we put them all under one class. So as always guys, just a quick recap on the key points of the lesson. The ID attribute is used to specify a unique ID for a HTML element. We learned that you can only use this once, and the syntax for an ID is hash ID name curly braces. We learned about the class attribute and how it can be used multiple times, and the syntax for the class attribute is dot class name followed by curly braces. So if you guys like what you see and you like the content, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one where we'll be talking about HTML entities.